Welcome to the niggerization of Silicon Valley. We back at you, digging all up in your ear hole tonight. Listen, we're going to jump straight into the minutia. There was a federal case in the 11th Circuit, which is a federal circuit here in the U.S. The case was against the Fearless Fund. There's a fund called Fearless Fund, which is a startup, a black-owned startup. The founder of this company is a woman named Ariane Simone. Now, the three-judge panel, and now let me just say this as a sidebar. If you have a father figure or a son, a brother, or uncle, or anyone that you know that has served time in federal prison, they will tell you that the 11th Circuit is the most treacherous circuit in the USA. The 11th Circuit is the most treacherous federal circuit in the USA. Now let me just tell you what they did. Basically, what the 11th Circuit, a three-judge panel did, the ruling was 2-1 against Fearless Fund. Now what they said was that Fearless Fund was basically practicing discriminatory practices by providing black women, black entrepreneurs, $20,000 grants. Now, how that can even be possible perplexes me. I'm just really on one. I really want to get one of them judges in the cell and just do something to him. You know what I'm saying? But it's like anytime we attempt to help ourselves, by providing funding to ourselves, by helping to uplift our brothers and sisters, in this case, black women, entrepreneurs, they find it illegal some way, somehow. So I guess the federal court ruled, it'll probably go to the next stage, which is another court. It'll probably go to the Supreme Court once the appellate court rules, so it'll probably have to go to the Supreme Court. Hopefully we can get some action there, man. But it's just really pitiful, in my opinion, that the three-judge panel would rule that by providing $20,000 grants, which isn't a whole lot of money, but it helps someone in a certain position. It helps these women, I'm sure, these sisters in a certain position to get their business off the ground, working capital or what have you. To find that was discriminatory against who? White women? White men? Who was Fearless Fund discriminating against? Because let's keep it all the way 100. White women in this country don't feel the blows of poverty. They got it like, oh my God, everything's cool. That's white women got it. I'm not gonna say they got it easy, but they don't feel it like the sisters feel it. They don't feel it. Based on my research, the average black woman earns $50,000 less than the average white male, which is when you add the numbers up, that's $36 billion in value annually that black women do not earn, do not even have an opportunity to earn. This is what I'm saying. So we know that white men earn the most, then potentially white women, then potentially black men, or some black men may be here, but always at the bottom is going to be black women. Always at the bottom is going to be black women. Asians are ahead of black women. White women are ahead of black women. Everyone else earns more than black women. So when you see that this is being called discriminatory, I take my hat off. I take my wig off to what the Fearless Fund was doing. Miss Ariane Simone, I take my wig off to her, because by providing private dollars to help these sisters in need, to help these sisters get their business off the ground so that they can be self-empowered to a degree, or support their families. I mean, we know that there's a marriageable age dilemma in the black community. We know that there really aren't any good black men available in the black community. I said it because I don't seen it. I said it, and what I mean by that is due to let's call it like it is, the high incarceration rates, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, mental illness, homelessness, what else? Homosexuality, just the disease, disease of the mind. You know, we got a lot of work to do as black men. And you heard it right here on the niggerization of Silicon Valley. We have a lot of work to do as black men. But just getting back to the case, that 11th Circuit, man, it's just a vicious territory. You know, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. I remember them just giving brothers hell all throughout the system, just giving brothers hell. It's like, even though you could literally be right about a legal issue, and they still gonna find you wrong. So we say, like, even though I'm right, man, they found me wrong. And that's just how the cracker. That's how he does. That's his MO. That's how he do his 1-2. So in short, hopefully, Fearless Fund will take this to the Supreme Court, and hopefully the Supreme Court will say, hey, wait a minute, because I'm gonna tell you another thing that just made me just want to really do something, jump all the way out there. They relied on a case from 1886. That's back when we were considered 3/5 of a human being. They relied on a case that funds cannot be dictated based on capital, cannot be dictated based on race. Based on contracts. Based on contracts. Funds cannot be allocated based on contracts. Using race based on contracts. Research the case yourself as founders. I got a question for you. You can see I'm kind of on one today. I got a question for you. Can you read that? How can we turn racism into optimism? Now, I want you to think about that. I'm gonna leave you with that. How can we turn racism into optimism? You think about that, and eventually we're working on getting the interactivity connected. That way we can communicate as we move forward in this progressive movement that we call the niggerization of Silicon Valley. So go ahead and think about how can we turn racism into optimism. Thank you for joining us. Once again, we're the niggerization of Silicon Valley. And like Granny used to say, you better get it together.